All right, so good evening again. We are on the topic of physics for CSEC physics, and this is our first session. And as I was saying to you, Ms. Morris, that the definition for physics is a study of matter and energy. And as I was saying, matter is that which has mass and take up some space, right? So it has mass and it occupies space. Now, if something has mass, what comes to your mind?
Would it be the weight or the amount of something that is in something?
All right, so it would be the latter. It would be the amount of stuff that the thing is made up of, right? So stuff here refers to the matter. All right.
Refers to the what?
When we say the amount of stuff, we're really talking about the amount of matter that is in the thing. So if we have, like, for instance, a bag and we keep pouring in some sand in it, the more sand you put in it, the more stuff you put in it in the bag, right?
Mm-hmm.
We are actually looking at matter in its physical state there, all right? So in this case, we say that matter, anything that has mass and occupies space. So we can say the sun has some mass and it occupies space, right? But weight now in physics has an entirely different meaning from mass. Oftentimes students confuse the two, but just to clarify, they are not the same. Is that clear?
Mass and matter, they're different. Yes.
Right. So we're talking about mass and weight, not mass and matter. Mass and weight are different. Is that clear?
Yeah, weight would be mass would be the okay. Somewhat, because in some sense it seems to be the same.
All right. So
But I guess
mass is measured in grams, but weight
and
force.
it matters in weight.
Yeah, weight is a force and it is measured in newtons.
Mm,
All right.
okay.
All right. Now I know this might be a little new, but we're going to work our way through it, right? So the next thing
Okay.
that physics is all about, it studies matter and it also studies energy. And so when you hear the word energy, what comes to your mind?
Source.
Say that again.
Source.
Source.
Mm-hmm.
When you say source, what you're actually referring to?
Um, Maybe the strength or the mental or physical capacity of something.
Okay. All right. The strength or capacity of something. All right. All right. So in physics, we refer to energy as the ability to do work, or that which causes work to be done. So once the thing can cause work to be done, we refer to it as energy. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Clear? All right.
Clear.
So in physics, we are going to be studying matter, and we are going to be studying energy, and we are going to see how the energy and matter relate. All right? So that
Okay.
will be something to focus on as we move along. All right? Now,
Mm-hmm.
as we're studying the physical world, there are some things about we'll have to think about. And so we're going to look at some concepts in physics. And as I was saying, physics is the study of matter and energy. And it really, if you study the physical world in terms of physics, you'll be able to get a better understanding of the non-living aspect of the world.
You're out again. You're out again.
All right. Are you hearing me now?
You hearing me?
Yeah, man, I'm hearing you now. But are you?
Yeah, I hear you too. I hear you now too.
Okay. So we say when you study physics, you'll gain a better understanding of the physical world.
Okay.
All right. Um, so there's another person entering, so let me just give them a chance to get on. All right.
Okay.
Good evening, iPhone. Could you identify yourself? Good evening, iPhone. Can you identify yourself, please?
Good evening. I'm Amiri Nelson.
Excuse me, just give me a second, guys. I'm trying to sort out some of the other members to get in. All right, sorry about that, guys. As the members trickle in, we kind of ironing out how to get onto the site and in the classroom. Now I was asking iPhone to identify his or herself so that we know who is actually there. Go ahead. Are you hearing me? iPhone?
Good evening. I'm Amiri Nelson.
Oh, you're Miss Nelson. Okay. All right. So good evening, Miss Nelson. So we're just at the beginning of the definition of physics. My second there. All right, so Miss Nelson, are you there same way?
Yes, I am.
All right, Miss Morris, are you there? Miss Morris, are you?
I am, sir.
Okay, good. All right, Miss Nelson, I'm just going to ask you to just quickly introduce yourself and tell us, give us a reason why you're doing this subject, please.
Good evening. My name is Amir Nelson again. The reason why I'm doing this is because I did it in high school. I got 4 and I wanted to retry to see if I can get 3 or
Okay, all right, good. All right, so so we are pretty much starting from scratch, and it means that we'll be doing everything in 1 year, so it will be intense in terms of the amount of stuff that we'll be doing. All right. So I will make the information available on the website. So from time to time, I'll be posting things there, including past papers and so on. All right. So I'll notify you when I've done any kind of posting, students. All right. So just to recap, as we trickle in. All right. So just to mention a little thing, we actually start at 5:30 and everybody is expected to be at 5:30 because it's just a small group. We don't want to really have to be sitting and waiting on anyone. So get in at 5:30 so that we can start on time and so that we can maximize the class time. All right, so physics is the study of matter and energy. And I was explaining what matter is. Miss Nelson, can you give me your understanding of matter?
all right. My understanding is matter is a state of I'm trying to remember the word, but I know that it's a state. For example, gas, liquid, solid.
Okay, so you're referring to the different states of matter, but
Yes.
that does not really give you a definition of what matter really is. Mr. Authors, can you hear me? And I'm hoping that your mic is working, Mr. Authors. Can you give us what is happening with your mic, Mr. Authors? I would like for you to use your mic in responding. Is that okay? Okay, so your mic is not working. All right, so I guess you'll just have to look at what you send in the chat. All right, so could you just type what you think, what your view of matter is in the chat, Mr. Authors, so that we can view what your idea is about matter? All right, so let us see what you say. All right. You said my view was the same as Miss Nelson. So your view is about the state. We know that matter is in, well, we say three different states, and that would be solid, liquid, and gas. However, matter is that which has mass and occupies space. So anything that has mass and take up space, we refer to it as matter. All right, it has to take up space, has to have mass. All right, now energy on the other hand, Miss Nelson, can you give us an idea of energy?
All right, I think energy is the use of force, and it includes the use of gravity also.
Okay. All right. So as we go by, we will clarify these words are the definition for these words, because in physics, the definitions are very precise. And so when you're defining the word, we're expecting that you give the definition in accordance to the physics, all right? Because some of these words are used in the layman world, and the meaning in the layman world might be different from what we really mean in physics. So we have a little bit more precise definition in physics. All right, so let us move on. So the purpose of physics is to gain a better understanding of the physical world, the non-living aspect of the physical world, because physics is about the non-living things and the phenomenon that surround them, all right? Now, matter, as we had mentioned, we say matter is that which has mass and occupied space and can be perceived by the senses. So it means that your senses, you should be able to use it to perceive matter. For instance, you should be able to touch something and know that it is there. So you should be able to feel anything that is matter. All right. You should, in some cases, you may be able to see what the matter is. All right. Some cases you may be able to, well, I don't know if the sound would be much of, it would make much difference with sound, but you would be able to probably feel and see matter. Now, everybody have a clear understanding of what matter really is, anything that has mass and take up space. Raise your hand and let me know if you're clear on what matter is. If you're clear on what matter is, can you just raise your hand? I think you should be able to work the features of Zoom. So look for the features there, right? So we have two persons. Mr. Authors, are you clear on what matter is? All right, you can lower your hand now. Seem like a lot of things not working for you, Mr. Authors. So you cannot use the automation. All right, so energy now is the ability to do work. Now, anything that is doing work, later on you will learn that work. Just checking Miss Nelson, because she would have done the subject already. So just checking Miss Nelson. When we say the ability to do work, what would work be, Miss Nelson, in physics?
Can you repeat the question, please?
What would be the definition for work in physics?
All right, I'm trying to remember because I've done it around 2 years ago. So I think work is the use of energy.
It wouldn't be quite in that sense, because work is actually force times distance. So if you apply a force to an object and you move it in some distance, we say work has been done. Now, the amount of work that you have done also equates to the amount of energy that you put in. So when you measure work, you are measuring energy. Is that clear, Miss Nelson?
Yes, sir.
All right. Miss Morris, do you get that idea?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Miss Morris, why you sound so low in your voice?
I do.
Yes, you sound a little bit, well, you sound a little reserved. All right, so let's hope we will get a little bit more energy and confidence as we move along. All right, now in physics, we have some fundamental concepts and laws, and I'll be walking you through these concepts and laws so that you can get a background to where we're going. All right. Now, anybody know what a concept is? When we say a concept, what do we really mean? Ms. Morris, would you like to give us your idea of a concept? Are you able to respond, Ms. Morris, or no?
Pardon me, sir. Can you repeat?
I was asking you to give us an idea of what a concept is.
As in a definition, it's a plan or an intention to do something.
Well, not say a plan. Miss Nelson, would you like to try? Would you like to say something about concepts?
No, sir.
Mr. Authors, you want to type something about concepts? Okay. All right. Now, a concept is really an idea. All right. So it's an idea that, you kind of have an idea about something. And so in physics, there are many ideas. And these ideas, we call them concepts, right? Now, because we are studying the physical world, there are also physical properties or things that happen in the physical world that we can apply as physical laws, right? There are some laws in the physical world that we observe. Anybody know any such law in the physical world, any law you can think of? And we're just talking about the non-living aspect of the world. Is there any laws there that help to make certain principles happen? All right, suppose you have an object and you hold it up high and let it go. What do you think will happen to it? Miss Nelson, what would happen to an object that you hold at a height and let go? Miss Morris, would you like to answer?
I would try, sir. It depends on the weight.
All right.
Because if you are holding it at certain height and it is very light, for example, a balloon, then it will float. But if it is something heavy, if water is in that balloon, then it's going to fall to the ground.
Okay. All right. So as you say, it depends on certain principle that surround the weight. All right. Very good, Miss Morris. That was quite a thoughtful answer. All right. So I see where Miss Nelson is having some connectivity issue. All right, I must warn you guys that we are using the Zoom, which allows us only about 40 minutes access at a time. So whenever it shuts down, you just log back in and then we'll continue and pick up from where we left off. All right, guys? All right, so Miss Morris has answered the question in a quite meaningful way. She said that if you have an object, depending on the weight, if it's a heavy object, it will fall. And if it's have some light weight to it, it will rise. And so that's a very thoughtful answer. However, that which makes things fall to the ground, we call that gravity. And so we say that the law of gravity is that it pulls things to the ground. All right, so we will consider that a law, a physical law. All right, not that it always works for all objects. So in the case of a balloon, according to Miss Morris, that balloon might float away. But it doesn't mean that gravity is not pulling the balloon, Miss Morris. What it really means is that apart from the gravity pulling on it, there are air molecules that causing the balloons to float. All right. And so we will look deeper into that when we get deeper into the physics, and you'll understand exactly how these work. All right. Okay. Miss Nelson, I realize that you have been in and out. Are you back with us now?
I had to take a call. I'm so sorry about that, but I had to take a call.
Okay. All right. Do you have anything to add to the question that I was asking? What would happen if you hold an object and let it go?
Right. It depends, because like if the object has air bubbles or gas, it will tend to rise. But if the object is a solid, it will tend to gravity will tend to pull it down easier than it would take to pull down an object which has gas molecules.
All right. So I pick up that there are quite a number of ideas that go into your minds, Miss Morris as well as Miss Nelson. So it means that you're thinking about the various factors surrounding an object falling or rising. And that's very good. Mr. Arthur, do you want to add anything in the chat on the idea of falling objects? All right, so we have been talking about concepts and we have been talking about laws. And I wanted to use the law of gravity as an example of a physical law in the real world. But you have other laws in the real world. We have certain things that we call constant, and they obey real world phenomena. Like one, we have like the speed of light. The speed of light remains constant in the real world, all right? So these are actual physical laws, and we can always rely on these